Hi, I'm Tim. This is Alonzo, and this is What the Flicks review of Season 2, Episode 1, Fear the Walking Dead, episode titled Monster. Last season, our group was about to leave Los Angeles on Strand's yacht. When we join them this season, things are a little more hectic. The city's being firebombed by planes. Walkers are all over the place. They're on a little dinghy trying to get out to the yacht.
Yeah. It's like, no, not Vista Del Mar. But yes, apparently all the way to the coast, they are just like wiping it all out, full surgical strike.
And for whatever reason, that has caused the walkers to be attracted by 3 people on an empty beach.
You know, I don't watch the other Walking Dead. This has been my entry to the whole world. So I have all these questions about how this stuff works. My big one being, and I'm going to skip us to the end here.
Please, by all means.
All right. So the whole concern is that the people that dipshit Alicia was talking to way too much on the radio and giving too much information to are going to come after them and do what they did to that other boat. What did they do to the other boat? I mean, obviously they sank it. You know, that's clear that they were, you know, there were big holes in the side. But how did everybody on the boat turn into walkers or swimmers in this case?
Okay, so that's sort of at the root of this whole universe, and that is that when you die, you come back. It's not about being bitten.
Oh, just plain old dead. Okay.
Yes, bitten is just an accelerated way to die because the infection spreads really quickly and you die and then you come back. So,
okay, so Travis's wife doesn't become a walker because they shoot her in the head.
Right, correct.
Okay.
Getting shot in the head or having your brain destroyed is the only way to stop a zombie.
Gotcha. So just death at this point is all it takes to...
Right.
Okay.
Right.
That makes sense now.
I mean, that's why...
Could we call the show Fear the Swimming Dead, or does that not have the same...
Fear the Bobbing Dead. So, yeah, this is a different show than The Walking Dead. You wouldn't know that because you don't watch The Walking
I've been
Dead,
told, though, yes.
Which gives you a fresh opinion. You can judge the show, ideally, how it should be judged by itself.
Sure,
it just inhabits
on the
same
merits.
universe. Now, people seem to be hating on this show a lot because it's not The Walking Dead. The characters that we have on the show are kind of dumb. They make mistakes. They do stupid things like talking to people on the radio.
Right.
And they are afraid of the few limited walkers that they encounter.
Hence the title.
Yeah, so people are saying, why don't they just, you know, it was just a couple walkers on the beach. These people don't have guns. They're not Rick. They don't have tactical expertise. We're comparing the finale of Season 6 to the premiere of Season 2 on this show. We're only 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks into the outbreak at this point.
Exactly.
So they're bad at surviving the apocalypse, and that makes sense to me. They should be kind of bad at it.
Well, of course, yeah. I mean, it's like, what, there were school teachers
a guidance counselor,
and a barber, and whatever. Do we know what Strand is?
No.
Do we know that he's like a drug smuggler? Like, what's with the giant yacht?
He's rich, maybe. He's a seller, as he told us last season. He sells stuff. So we're not sure yet.
Okay. Commodities broker, it could be anything.
Could be anything. What do you think of the episode as a whole?
As a whole, I mean, you know, I thought it was a decent, you know, season premieres sort of have a specific plot mechanism that they have to sort of put into play where we pick up where we left off and they have to sort of give you an idea of what's happening. Obviously, based on this and then on the, you know, coming this season, it seems like it's all going to be either at sea or by the shore and sort of them making their way southward, you know, past San Diego, I'm sure through like Mexico, Central America, trying to find some place that is beyond contagion, which I'm sure is not a thing, or then there's no show. So, you know, I think, you know, we're going to have a lot of people in a small space that they can't get out of having disagreements and yelling at each other, and that's, I assume, what they do a lot of on The Walking Dead, only this is a boat. Right?
Yeah. I mean, we get this little cast of characters that we've only known for 7 episodes so far. Some of them only 1 or 2 episodes so far. So we haven't really figured out the dynamic yet. We don't really know what everybody's plan is. We know that it's Strand's goddamn boat, and that's important to remember. But as
I believe he mentions that once.
Yeah, a couple of rules that they cover. So yeah, this episode was about you know, reminding you who these characters are and sort of setting the plot into motion. We have our set pieces, we have our characters. Now we're looking for the antagonist of the day, and that's apparently who Alicia's talking to on the radio.
Sure.
That's not exactly how ham radios work. You can't play David Bowie and talk over them and receive without interrupting. It's not.
Well, if you have some masking tape.
I won't nitpick. I won't nitpick how CB radios work in this instance. But I mean, something was up right away. You know, he's like, "Hey, is anybody out there? Is anyone left alive?" Yeah, switch one station over, and they're like, "Hey, we're alive and we're out of food and water."
Yeah.
"Hey, we're alive and we can't help you." Like it's clear, you know, it's a mistake. It's Alicia's mistake, but it makes sense that she would make it.
It's a teen girl mistake.
Yeah,
sure.
she's mourning the loss of her boyfriend.
Yeah.
Some cute guy starts flirting with her before she even responds.
Right.
"Oh, you're shy. Oh, okay. Well, I can wait." So that's what's going to happen this episode. And yes, the shooting of the boat is indicative that there's bad guys out here on the water.
Sure.
They probably wouldn't just open fire on this yacht. They want the yacht.
Oh, clearly, yeah. I mean, there's going to be a form of piracy happening.
Yeah.
And I'm sure at this stage in the outbreak, other people also think if they can get the right boat, they can get the sufficient distance away to leave all this behind.
Which is important. I don't know why San Diego is the goal when Hawaii seems to be, you know,
yeah, and it's
the
like,
promised land.
Indeed, or at least Catalina. You know, you're off the mainland. You know,
Right.
I don't know.
Sheep
That,
can't turn into zombies.
yeah,
as well,
that,
so
as far as
that's
we know,
important to know.
they don't know that.
No, they don't.
But yeah, San Diego does seem awfully contiguous. I don't know why they would necessarily look at that as being a same thing, because at this point in the game, they know this is happening in other parts of the country, right?
They suspect
that's come
as
up
much.
earlier, like from radio broadcasts or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you know, I'm watching this show because if y'all saw the interview that we did here on What the Flick, Kim Dickens is an old friend of mine. You know, so I love watching her, but also like Ruben Blades is great, and Coleman Domingo, and Cliff Curtis. I mean, there's a really strong cast here.
I didn't even think Frank Delane, if I'm saying that right, was really, he's got channeling that like young Johnny Depp thing going on.
A little bit, yeah, I could see that, sure. And I mean, not that the other Walking Dead doesn't have great actors on it as well. I mean, but you know, so obviously you know, this is genre television, but at the same time, they're getting people who can really get to the heart of these characters and who are, you know, they're approaching it from a way of, it's, you know, any successful monster story, I think, has to have a human element that operates. These have to be characters that you empathize with, that you think, well, what would I do in that situation? And, you know, either agree with them or judge them for it or whatever, but at least they're recognizably human. And whatever mistakes they make, at least those are recognizably human as well. So, you know, I'm into it. And I think, you know, there were definitely some suspenseful moments. That swimming sequence where you suddenly start seeing the walker/swimmers, you know, that was spooky, and you know, the whole time element of like, gotta get back on the boat because this other boat is coming at us,
Boat
and
can
the
only
thing,
go so
and the
fast. We only have so much fuel.
exactly, yeah, it seemed like an algebra problem, you know.
There's mysterious fog right there. We can't
Yeah,
see
the
it.
fog. I go, is there something on fire? I wasn't sure, or maybe that's a thing. Who knows?
And I'm not, you know, seafaring enough to know if that's a thing. That
Yeah,
happens.
no, exactly.
Sound travels strangely on water, so that'll explain the voices that you hear. That's fine. We'll go with that.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, Strand is sort of interestingly oblique.
Yes.
You know, we don't know what his deal is, what his agenda is.
So
You know,
there's your intrigue for the episode.
absolutely. I mean, for the whole, I mean, ever since they introduced him back in the was the pens that they
Yeah,
go, you know,
yeah.
like, yeah, who is this guy and what is his deal exactly? You know, although I admittedly, and I think I've mentioned this in the season 1 recaps, as great as Coleman Domingo is, and as many different things I've seen him in, I can never not think about him playing Maya Angelou on the Big Gay Sketch Show on Logo rather, reading the Craigslist missed encounter. It was a great sketch, and
have
so
to look for that.
I always carry that with me now when I see Coleman Domingo and stuff. But yeah, he's great, and yeah. So I mean, I'm certainly, you know, it as a season premiere did that thing where I'm intrigued to see where this thing goes, and obviously because this show is a prequel, you know, in this way that like Better Call Saul is or something else, you have some idea of where it's going,
Yeah.
and some notion of what the end point is, but you don't know the specific steps and who's going to survive and how they're going to get there and what their version of this event is going to be. So there's still suspense and there's still questions to be answered.
And I like that comparison you made because I think it's important, as you shouldn't really compare Better Call Saul to Breaking Bad. They're very different types of shows.
Right.
It's silly to hold one on the same, you know, spectrum as the other. You shouldn't compare this show to The Walking Dead. It's a totally different type of show.
Yeah, I mean, because even with Better Call Saul, they at least will loop in characters and incidents that we know will pop up again later, or
Yeah.
even like the hot dog place. But this one, yeah, I mean, it's geographically separated, it's temporally separated, chronologically rather. So yeah, it is its own thing.
It's even source material separated because The Walking Dead is based off the comics.
Right.
This doesn't carry that weight with it. They can do whatever they want. There's not like when you see the bat on The Walking, you don't know what I'm talking about. But when the fans of The Walking Dead see the bat, they know that there's a storyline they're already familiar with, associated with that item.
Well, yeah.
So that carries expectations, and it carries either fulfillment or disappointment with it, as we're seeing in the reviews of the finale.
Yeah, I mean, but I think shows do a really good job of sort of playing around with expectations. Hannibal, obviously, if you thought they were going to be slavishly following the Thomas Harris novels, they didn't. The Leftovers finished their novel after season 1, so season 2 they were completely open to do whatever they wanted, and it was even an even better season.
So that's what I find refreshing about Fear the Walking Dead.
Sure, no, I can see that. So yeah, I mean, this is not compelling me to go watch Walking Dead because that show's what, 8, 9 seasons in now?
6 or 7.
Something crazy. And everybody I know who watches it veers wildly from loving it to fucking hating it. So I'm just like, I don't need that in my life.
Yeah.
But I'm down for this.
I'm glad AMC is letting the show find its sea legs. It's like,
as it were.
As it were.
Cool. All right. Well, we will be here all season. So yeah, come back next week.
See you then.